USA Radio News with Wendy King.
President Trump still calls the Russia investigation a hoax, and he said he doesn't think much of Robert Mueller's 7 hours of testimony on Capitol Hill.
I think Robert Mueller did a horrible job, both today and with respect to the investigation.
During questioning by Intelligence Committee member Congresswoman Val Demings, Mueller weighed in on whether the president's written responses to his questions were adequate.
Director Mueller, isn't it fair to say that the president's written answers were not only inadequate and incomplete because he didn't answer many of your questions, but where he did, his answers showed that he wasn't always being truthful?
I would say, generally.
House Speaker Nancy Pelosi said impeachment is not off the table, but she said it has to be a solid case and not about politics. This is USA Radio News. A statue of the person known as the only white woman killed during the civil rights movement of the 1960s has been unveiled in the Motor City. USA's Chris Barnes reports.
Detroit native Viola Liuzzo was shot and killed by the Ku Klux Klan 54 years ago as she was driving black civil rights workers in Alabama. The statue, dedicated in a Detroit park that bears her name, depicts her as walking barefoot and carrying her shoes, taking steps away from a Klan hood that lies on the ground behind her. Among those in attendance for the dedication was Susan Bro, the mother of Heather Heyer, who was killed while protesting peacefully at the 2017 Unite the Right rally in Charlottesville, Virginia. For USA Radio News, I'm Chris Barnes.
On Wall Street, stocks were mixed. The Dow was down 79 points, the S&P 500 up 14, and the Nasdaq up 70. You're listening to USA Radio News. Are you prepared if there's a cyber attack? USA Radio Network's Tim Berg has ways to protect yourself.
With the increasing threat of cyber attacks on our national security and even blackouts in some U.S. cities, many people are wondering what they need to do to be prepared. Well, I had a chance to sit down and chat with Richard Clark. He's one of the world's leading experts on security, cybersecurity, and terrorism, and he shares some tips on what you can do to prepare yourself should a cyber attack happen.
I would think about it as a hurricane. A really bad hurricane, like what happened to Puerto Rico, can knock out the power for a long period of time. And so you want to think about, what would I do if I didn't have power? We all live on our credit cards, but if there's no power, no one can use a credit card. And you can't get money out of the ATMs. So, you might want to have some cash stashed away to get through.
North Korea fired 2 missiles into the sea, and Japan's defense minister says the test launches are probably a violation of UN Security Council resolutions. North Korean expert Jeffrey Lewis of the Middlebury Institute has details on the missiles.
The United States calls this missile the KN-23. It is a short-range missile. It can carry a nuclear weapon-sized payload to about 450 kilometers. That's far enough to put a nuclear weapon on most U.S. bases in South Korea.
Take us with you on your computer or mobile device and listen anytime at usaradio.com.